Well, we're back at the Arco Arena in Sacramento, California. Bob Papa, Teddy Atlas, Vincent Parra, R.J. Karsten will square off in a 6-round middleweight bout. Karsten is from Antioch, California, 160 pounds, and he has a professional record of 6-0 with 4 knockouts. And his opponent is from San Diego, California, 6'1", 160 pounds. His name is Vincent Parra, and he has a professional record of 6-2 with 3 knockouts. John Shorey is our referee once again. Just tuned in, Juan Lascano stopping
commands at all times to protect yourselves.
Vladimir Matkivsky in the 5th round. Willie Horin in our main event tonight. Sacramento zone. He'll defend his WBC super bantamweight title against Oscar Larios. So there is Parra, 25 years of age, has 1 first-round knockout coming up September 29th win against Alfonso Perez. Karsten has not fought since August. 4-round decision against Juan Barreto. Karsten in the white, Parra in the black.
Well, the bigger man, the taller man, obviously Parra. I just think you want to use that height. Stay on the outside, use that jab. Keep Karsten at the end of his punches. Parra not only the taller man, but physically the bulkier man. 160 pounds or more, 7 times in 8 fights, been as heavy as 166 pounds. Smaller man Karsten, never over 158 pounds. Been as light as 153 pounds.
The left hand by Karsten follows it up with a right hand.
But the shorter man Karsten is where he wants to be, inside the reach of the taller Parra. Karsten had the bigger amateur background too, Bob. 65 bouts for Karsten against 25 bouts for Parra. Those amateur fights really help. Get you calm in the ring, get you confident.
Double jab by Karsten.
Just what you want to do if you're the shorter man with a taller man. Don't take for granted that the taller man is going to out jab you and you're going to have to use hooks and right hands and lucky punches to get in. No, take the jab away from the taller man by using your jab. Close the gap the right way, which is what Karsten just did there. Now go to work when you're inside. Only thing Karsten did wrong there was he went outside again. When he's outside, he has to deal with those long arms of Parra.
John Shirley took a look, like a low blow from Parra. Good counter left hand from Karsten.
Good fight so far. Good even talents, comparable skills. That usually equates to a good fight.
This guy's landing some good shots. Oh, good left hand by Karsten, and Parra is out. He is out. John Shirley stops it immediately, and rightfully so.
Lay down.
Whoa. And there's 2 reasons why the taller Parra got caught with that left hook. Right hand was down, and he took his height away. He reached in to punch with the shorter Karsten, got into the shorter Karsten's distance. And the shorter Karsten knew what to do. He threw a real quick counter left hook. Landed right on the button, Bob.
That is his 3rd first-round knockout. He is now 7-0 with 5 stoppages. They're arguing with the referee in Parra's corner, like why he stopped that. He looked pretty out to me at that time.
And watch how Parra will take his height away. Go in close to the shorter man. Keep his right hand low. You don't want to keep that right hand down. He never saw that left hook that landed.
Then a right hand for good measure. A left hand to the body started the sequence, Teddy. That sort of opened up the head of Parra.
Yeah, watch how Parra comes in close to the shorter man instead of using his height. Doesn't have his right hand up. And he gets caught with that left hook by Karsten. Karsten knew what to do. As soon as he felt those gloves on his arms, he counted right back. And you know what? He caught his man standing there taking a picture.
R.J. Karsten gets the stoppage at 2:25 of the first round. Get another look at it. A left hand to the body put Parra's head in the right spot, and then a left hand to the jaw and a short right hand on the inside were the difference. Left hand to the body, left hand to the chin. Wobbly goes Para, right hand to finish it. John Shirley stops it. Karsten a winner. Here's Brian and Max.
Oh my goodness, they're complaining about the stoppage. He just saved the kid, stop that fight.
Without the devastating left hook combination.
And now you have Richard Karsten competing in the Classic KO against Joe Louis. Here, Joe Louis from 1930s against Charles Retzlaff.
Why am I thinking about Felix Trinidad and Fernando Vargas especially? You know, Vargas, everyone, we're talking in the studio right now about how's Vargas going to react to the Trinidad knockout. This is the last undefeated Joe Louis anyone would ever see. In his very next fight, he's knocked out in the 12th round, just like Vargas was against Trinidad, by Max Schmeling. And this is 1936. Louis didn't retire until 1951, and in between made 25 title defenses. So it's not out of the question that Fernando Vargas becomes a great fighter. Look at Joe Louis.
Vargas, Joe Louis.
No, I'm just saying it's not out of the question. 12th round knockouts. This is the last undefeated Louis you'd ever see. Undefeated is not such a big deal.
January 17th, 1936. Here you go.
As Retzlaff lunges in, Louis will meet him with a lightning left hook that drops into the canvas. Retzlaff tries to rise, but stumbles back groggily before courageously getting to his feet. Louis, who already had a reputation for never letting his man get away, moves in to finish it. He's got Retzlaff against the ropes. 5 devastating punches, and Retzlaff can no longer hold himself up. He goes down again. Retzlaff tries to rise, but he's unable to regain his feet, and the referee signals that it's all over. Louis rushes over to help the fallen fighter to his corner. Joe Louis wins a smashing one-round victory and takes another giant step for the heavyweight title. And you saw it on Knockout.
Classic KO is brought to you by Miller High Life.
When we come back here on Friday Night Fights, we'll take a look at the young Olympians and young Mexican fighters, the big splash over the weekend.
Super Bowl Sunday, the New York Giants and the Baltimore Ravens will do battle for the coveted Super Bowl championship. To commemorate this 35th Super Bowl, the NFL has commissioned the Collector's Mint to create the official game coin. And now you can reserve one of these historic coins for only $29.90. The coin features the helmets of the Giants and the Ravens and the official Super Bowl logo. Millions of fans will watch the Super Bowl, but only 25,000 of these collectible medallions can be minted before the mold is destroyed forever. Each coin is overlaid with pure 24-karat gold and comes with an individually numbered certificate of authenticity. There's only one Super Bowl and only one official game coin. And if you call right now, you'll receive this collector's display case absolutely free. Collector's Mint will assign the numbers in the order calls are received. So have your credit card ready and reserve yours now for only $29.90.
To order, call 1-800-553-2900.
Are you ready to see yourself as others see you? I didn't know I was so gray. Now escape that old gray look with new Just for Men. More than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator. Just for Men shampoos away gray in 5 easy minutes and now has vitamins. It brings back a thicker, healthier look that's completely natural.
I like what I see.
Just for Men. More than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator.
Right after Friday Night Fights, it's the NHL tonight. Kevin Cork and Darren Pang will be with you. They'll have the plays of the week and have the latest on Chris Pronger out there on the ice. Again, right after Friday Night Fights, NHL tonight, right here on ESPN2. And we're back here on Friday Night Fights, and we had Rocky Juarez. We're bringing up Arthur Mercanti, and we'll bring up Rocky Juarez. We had him here on Friday Night Fights last week. How would he be in his pro debut? Remember, he lost his last fight in the Olympics after a 68-fight winning streak. And Max, you got Juarez in there against Pascal Adorno. He was very polished, but I really thought of you here, where I just saw he was lacking something special, at least in his pro debut.
It was a workmanlike effort. He didn't know the kid was a southpaw, and he fought that way, but he won every round, and I don't think it was a close fight in any round, but it was a workmanlike win.
Juarez gets the win in his pro debut. Fairly impressive, very polished fighter, obviously. Here he is after the bout.
My body shots were pretty good. You know, I didn't land the best shots I had, but I felt what I didn't do today was basically put my jab out there and start the way I finished at the end, the 4th round. Just pace, pick my shots, and, you know, pick them apart.
Now, maybe the bar was raised so much because of the same fight card, Max. We saw 17-year-old kid Francisco Bajardo against Derek Castor. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Dietrich Castor. Castor was, he had a 0-1-1 record.